Hello, this is Beastieball. I'm going to be running any percent with Bildit. This is a sort of turn-based volleyball RPG, as the devs describe it. Creature collector, it's lovely. So, not much else to add before I get right into it. Let's get going. So immediately, we're going to be skipping the cutscenes a lot. There are a lot of cutscenes, obviously, intro of a game. We have intro skips turned on. A little bit of lag there, which isn't always fun to deal with. But whenever you hear me clapping, currently my clap is very high-pitched because I'm nice and small. There will be a time skip in a moment. That's me hitting the skip cutscene button, aside from occasionally when it's just me hitting the clap button because I feel like it. There are lots of cutscenes to skip in this game. I just have clap set to that so that people can more easily hear when I'm hitting the button. Anyway, past time skip now, grabbing a shiny object there, which we're going to sell for some money later, and heading right off to the races. Here we have to talk to Reese and make sure we don't run into any beasties, because otherwise there will be a mandatory encounter, which we can't forfeit. Fun little jump here. Tricky. But we got it. We're opening that gate for later. It's similar stuff to the other routes, at least so far. Stuff's going to deviate a bit in the mid-game, and with how fights go, we're just going to make sure we get that campsite, and then we're going to lose this fight a few times, 4 to be exact, I believe, in order to grind up to, I forgot to move Bildit forward. I need to move Bildit forward on defense typically there, because that means I actually get knocked out. But it's fine. Inconsequential, I lost like 5 seconds because of it, not a big deal. So now we just continually lose for a while. There's a fun bug where Jack here is stuck in the air. Bildit learns prepared attack here, which is going to be its damage option for the rest of the game while we still need it to do damage. There will be a point at the game which we no longer rely on it to do any damage. Because we are going to recruit another beastie, as Bildit is much more adaptable as a support beastie than an offensive one, at least in terms of a speedrun. It's not the strongest attacker. So we're gonna pick up another BC about midway through the run, and it'll be super high level and allow us to kind of blow up the rest of the game with some thought. All right, Bildit learns set here, very important move. Set applies the jazzed condition, which gives a 50% bonus to your damage. Spreco learning shield there, another very important one. Shield applies the tough feeling, which means you take 1/4 damage from attacks and cannot be knocked out if you have more than 1 HP. Very useful things. Either way, Bildit metamorphs here into Handicoot, so that's our sign to win this fight. We're going to start by prepared attacking into Sabretooth. There are a couple different lines. No one forward. We don't do anything on defense. Okay, we got Lioness forward. So we're moving Handicoot forward, clicking a volley move. It's like volleyball, you need to volley to get the ball under control. You can't just send the ball back over the net most of the time. And now we're going to do sort of the same thing to Griffin. We're going to use shield here because otherwise Spreco will fall over. And just shove Handicoot forward if I can aim my clicks correctly. There we go. Alright, and that's Jack 1. Alright, we see a partner's relationship form between Spreco and Handicoot there. The relationship between these two doesn't really matter. I don't need to go that way. Different route. The relationship between these two doesn't really matter. Because they're not going to be on the field together very much after we get our third beastie. But we will use their combo move once. So it's usually nicer to get rivals on this route, but we got partners, which is also fine. Just doing some overworld movement here through Quartz Canyon. Gonna do a fun little skip here where we skip half of this puzzle by jumping off there pretty precisely and missing the throw, of course. It's pretty precise. You have to be sort of in the middle of the bush. And here we are going into GeoCity, which is very decidedly a mid-game area. We're going to do a neat little guardian skip here by jumping on the fence so that it can't get to us, and then it doesn't respawn until we leave its radius after we enter the next screen. So we can just unlock the warp point up there. Here, going to grab an exercise video and unlock another warp point and continue on our way up now. Dodge a whole bunch of beasties on this screen. A new strat we found here. I missed my throw. But if you manage to bonk that guardian or any guardian with a ball, they won't chase you for about a second while they volley the ball, so that can allow you to skip past them without having to forfeit. Unfortunately, didn't work out for me there. It's quite tricky to aim when the beasties are short. Getting a warp point in Begonia here. We're going to be back there in just a moment, but in the meantime, we need to grab another warp point, because that's what this section of the game is. We are trying to get basically everywhere we need to go. Cutscene to skip there. Ooh, those were some spawns. And we're going to grab the attract spray here. That'll allow us to make sure that the beastie we recruit later is at a certain level, that is level 43, as opposed to level 41 or 42, meaning obviously we have slightly better stats, we do slightly more damage, all of that good stuff. Here, grabbing the athletic spray, most important item for the speedrun, doubles our experience gain for a while. We're going to pop it pretty soon, but in the meantime we do have a couple more warp points to get to and one more item to pick up. I need to find a free moment to check my notes just to make sure I'm not missing anything before I get going. Heading down here, snipe that lever as we run past, which always feels sick as heck. Another tricky guardian skip there, which I did not get, unfortunately. That one's a lot tighter than some of the others. The one just above that was a lot easier. Jump off a cliff there, grabbing the spa salts here, and here I'm just gonna make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, cool, I haven't. We're using the athletic spray and heading off to Domain Park, where we get immediately warped into the next battle with Jack. And we're just gonna lose around 20 times, more or less. We need to get all the way up to level 35 in this grind. And the athletic spray makes that about twice as fast, which is very handy. Something to note about encounters like this one, a lot of story encounters have boosted experience. So we abuse the heck out of that, because if we get more experience from an encounter than usual, that means if we then double that, we can just lose over and over again. Losing points is very quick. You'll see each cycle of this fight takes me around 20 seconds. Somewhat depending on whether they decide to use a defensive action or if I level up or if I don't level up. But all in all, the grind comes around to about 7 minutes, but it's a lot more efficient than gaining the levels elsewhere, where we actually have to think and, you know, win battles rather than losing over and over again. One day I plan to route Iron Man, which is a setting in the game, which means if your beasties faint, if your beasties get wiped, then they're wiped permanently and leave your team. Sort of akin to a Nuzlocke in Pokemon, which is a very fun mode in its own right, not one I've figured out how to speedrun yet. I've done some looking into it, but the any percent run has been evolving so much with a few balance patches here and there. Always bounced back quite well, but it just means I've been a lot more focused on any percent, because I've also been submitting it to marathons. If you're watching this from Games Committee, hello! So yeah, we'll be here for a while. I don't have much to talk about at the moment, so I'm just gonna let you enjoy the music. I suppose I should mention, there aren't very many moves we actually need to learn during this grind. We learned Demanding Set earlier, which will be useful in like 2 situations throughout the run, which is more than the previous move in that slot, which was Dig would be used. We don't use it very much compared to normal set, because it makes the allies stressed, which is a condition that then results in tired after a turn, so it can be very useful for finishing off a battle, and giving like just a little extra nudge. But in most cases, we won't be using it because its other effect of shifting the beastie that's being volleyed to the front lane will be redundant once we get Handicoot's hidden ability in a bit, which is Captain. I suppose I can talk about that now. Captain is a Handicoot's hidden ability, or recessive trait as it's called, sorry. Much cooler name, I just forget. And whenever the captain volleys, their ally is shifted to the front row, which is very useful in terms of dealing damage. Something about damage in this game, if you are in the front row, you deal 50% more damage. If you are in the back row, you have 50% more defense. So useful things. If we're in the front row, we're doing more damage, which is obviously a very good thing. Because we're speedrunning, we want to be dealing damage. Who knew? Spreco learns a lot of moves during this grind. We don't need any of them. We are perfectly content with what Spreco already has for the moment. That is, we won't be using these anymore until after we have also metamorphed Spreco, because right after we metamorph Handicoot in this grind, we'll immediately head off. This is where the routes start to deviate a lot more between the 3 starters. We will head off to metamorph Spreco immediately rather than waiting, because we want to get that full heal so we can win this fight afterward. Level 33, so 2 more levels to go. I believe it's 5 more fights. Speedrunning, getting some water there. Suppose something I can mention, you'll notice the timer in the top left will pause whenever the AI has some thinking to do. That's a very nice, like, speedrunning quality of life feature that the devs added, because we were realizing that not in a lot of situations, but in certain situations there were moments where the AI takes a lot of time to think, usually when it has an extra action. There are a couple ways where the AI can gain extra actions, or if it just has a lot of different flows it could take during its turn, then it takes some more time to analyze it. And that takes a lot longer on slower computers than fast ones. So the devs were kind enough to like remove AI thinking times as well as normal load times in this in-game timer, which is what we use on leaderboards. Alright, and here we are at level 35, so Handicoot will metamorph into Bandicraft at the end of this match. Here we go. So there's Bandicraft. We aren't going to fight Jack again just yet. We are actually going to warp back to that campsite we got in the canyon. And head over towards the first of the rowdy metamorphs of Spreco, or that we have to sort of help our friend Reese, who we haven't really met yet. We sort of walked past him and brushed him off, is doing a whole bunch of research, and we need to help him with that and calm down some beasties in the process. You can see I picked up another item there. That was another shiny object. We need some money. So we're getting some money. This is Bongus. Fun fact about Bongus. You don't need to beat Bongus to beat the game. You just need to get past Bongus. So we are going to get very unlucky with the sort of respawn there. Sometimes this happens. This is not intended, if that was not clear. We are going to sort of forfeit over and over again until we can get to this shroom behind it without actually winning the fight. After this metamorph, we're going to learn a couple moves. Those are Drum and Bounce on Spreco. Well, now Bongus, of course. Going to be useful later in the run. So Drum over Refresh and not Calming Aura, not Power Sap, Bounce over Careful Shot, and now we are going to warp out immediately before we get caught. And also go to Kokeliko here. I don't know if I have the money for it yet. I do not. Okay, so I do need to do this second after fighting Jack. So we're doing this first, and then we're gonna go get that. All right. What am I doing here? I can bounce the front row, I think. Yeah, okay, cool. Sometimes the AI is a little silly, and I kind of forgot which beastie I was supposed to be serving into, so we're doing it a little bit live, but that's fine. We are absolutely fine and win this fight. No problem at all. Just make sure we get the kill there. Cool. All right, and we got $40 there, and now we can go get this thing. So we're gonna buy a jersey patch. We're recruiting another beastie in a sec. The jersey patch just makes sure its stats are more consistent, which is, you know, in a speed run, very useful. Stats are more consistent and also better. There's a stat called coach percentage. If you've watched the Axolotl run already, you've heard me talk about this. But basically, it depends on sort of how many matches you've played with a beastie. Always slow to hit that Guardian there, but it's either very easy to dodge or impossible to dodge. Coach percentage, stat you don't have to deal with your starters because they come with 100% coach percentage. Any beasties you recruit from the wild will not have that. We're just doing a little dance here and avoiding these wild beasties so that we can get a star jersey here, which we're going to use to recruit our friend Magpike in a sec. Please get out of the way. Little skip off the trash can here if I don't keep falling off. Technically it's a recycling bin, but same thing. Just a whole bunch of tricky movement in this section. We grab a conditioning ticket in there, which does a similar thing to a jersey patch. We will also be using that on Magpike later. Now just running up through here, and we are up into 1,000 views. I'm just going to use my attract spray now because I need to use it at some point. And having it gone sooner will be helpful because it means less things are spawning. That's a glimmering object. It gets us $300, which is very useful. That's an exercise video again. Another level. Got some cutscenes to skip here. And more cutscenes, watching this fight between Valerie and Dominic, which Dominic loses. And then we challenge Dominic to a match because he hasn't had enough balling, I guess. And we're going to not go fight him just yet. We are going to sell our objects first. And now we can go heal and recruit Magpike. I don't believe I've missed anything. And there's one right here. We want level 43 and crafty. Neither of these are crafty. So we're gonna go try and look for potentially another one on the same screen. I'm not seeing one there. Riley's gonna give us a call. Too trusting again. The first beastie on each encounter will always be the same. This is not good luck. Let me see if I can find another one. Nope. All right, we're just hoping. This is not good RNG, if that wasn't clear. This shows what the run can look like. There's a magpike, and it's crafty. Awesome. To be fair, if we get a trusting one, you can win with that too. It's just a little more complicated. So we can use our partner volley here. That's magpike's recruit condition. We just need to... sorry, hold on. Let me just win this fight a little bit faster by using it here so that Bongus can bounce into the front row and win the point if the Zephyr doesn't move. There we go. And Magpike's recruit condition is use a combo play, so we've now done that, and we get to recruit it. And we're going to use the Jersey Patch to boost its stat growth. Okay, now we are going to head back to 1,000 views. Heal, first of all. I think I clicked the heal button. There are some items we need from there, and we're going to head to the gym. We're going to give Bandicraft the spa salts to get it captain. We are going to give Magpike a whole lot of body attack. And as much body defense as we can. And I forgot to give it a couple other things. And there we go. So that's all trained. Let's go fight Illigus now. I, in fact, forgot to switch the order of my beasties, which is important. I need to put Magpike up here, and I need to put pressure on and assess. There we go. And now we can one-shot Reese's beasties here, because this is an early game event, and we are decidedly past early game in level. We now get to sneak past Illigus here, same way we snuck past Bongus, except it's a lot more consistent, happens first try a lot more easily. Now we head off to Circus. We have to get a boating license here, which is fairly expensive and why we couldn't give Magpike even more body defense. And now we're just sort of heading off across the sea. Athletic Spray wore off there, which is not good. We're going to be doing it a little bit live because Magpike is going to be doing a little less damage than it was in most of my testing routes. We have a fun skip here. There we go. I got that first try. Couldn't get a lot of other things first try, but hey, at least we got that. Circus here, we are actually going to give Serve to, so that we can click Assess and do a whole bunch more damage on this turn. Let me see. I actually haven't remembered to do this. Okay, yeah, demanding set, so we kill. If you didn't notice, that's a lot of damage. So that's sort of finishing up the Reese quest. We want to head up here to Begonia, because we have to go visit them in the Beastie Research Society lab and talk to them here. We'll see Celia again, who you saw very briefly earlier. But now we're going to challenge Dominic. Most importantly, we have a platinum sponsor now. Platinum sponsor being one of the two things we need to get into the Crown Series, the other being rank 100, which we are about to get by beating Dominic. So I need to actually get on the correct page of my notes. There we go. So this is the toughest fight in the run. We are going to hope it goes well, and if it doesn't go the way we want on the first turn, which is right here, we want to see Rocket into Bandicraft. If it's Rocket into Magpike, then we have to reset the fight, but we get the correct one. We click Assess there to lower the defense of Bo. Normal set here, pressure into Bo. We don't want Bo to come to the front because they have a trait called Monster Block, which is a massive pain, which makes us shook, meaning we can't attack. Oh dear. All right, well, something's not happening correctly. What's supposed to happen is Jordan is supposed to move to the back row there, but they didn't. So we are going to forfeit and try again. Nice thing is we got a full heal, so we can just go straight back into it. Lovely stuff. And I am going to hope it works this time. Pressure into bow. Click assess again. Volley and pressure into bow. Yeah, there we go. That's what we do want to happen. So now Jordan's going to move forward and click rocket into this lane and not use rumble, which would it gives us a field effect called quake, which is very much a pain. Anyway, we knock out Jordan here while Bo clicks shield, unprepared for the damage that comes their partner's way. We now want to deal a little more damage to Bo. We switch Bandicraft out here because they will go down otherwise, and we send Bongus in. We now send Magpike to the front row, volley, and pressure into Ruth, just because we don't want Bo to be able to click Ricochet here for ridiculous damage, but either way, we are losing this point here, so it doesn't particularly matter. Actually, no, because Bongus would get knocked out if we hit Bo. Anyway, here, we can just assess on this, but it doesn't matter because we are actually going to see Bo shield here. And that means we can click bounce into the front row for a free point. And then for whatever reason here, Bo hasn't usually switched out. Bo should switch out there, but doesn't. And we get a free point off of that as well. And now we're rank 100, so we can go straight off to getting into the Crown Series, and of course there's more plot that needs to happen before that, so we'll be doing that first. Warping straight over to mainframe. Skipping that cutscene there, going in here, skipping this cutscene here. Gonna get a whole bunch of phone calls. We're back to the getting a warp point part of the run. Phone call from Marlin there. Our track spray just wore off. Phone call from Riley there. We are now going to warp back to Rutile to go and talk with Riley. Spoilers! Spoiler time. Alright. Riley heals us before this fight, so we're fine. We click pressure into Sabretooth. We click assess to lower the opposing team's might defense. We hit volley, we hit set, and now pressure knocks out Lioness, even through block. Pressure on serve now knocks out Sabretooth as well. Now we hit pressure into Griffin, because this is the easier one to knock out of them and the Bendiva here. We hit shield with Magpike, because otherwise they'll go down to this thump. And now we just volley set one more time for the victory. Couple questions to answer Riley there, and head right back over to mainframe, heal quickly, just to be sure. I don't really think we need to, but for safety's sake. We now have to fight Reese again. Jim just stands there and takes that like not really a champ. We hit pressure here again. Jeff comes out. They're going to use a sideways move, so we move Bandicraft to the front, just minimizing the number of actions we need to take on the next turn. We hit demanding set here, actually. Sorry. This is one of the moments we do use demanding set, because we can just knock out Jeremy there. And the stress doesn't turn to tired because the turn didn't like technically end because it's still us on offense, which means we can just knock out Jeff there. I have some setup to do now. I need Bongus in the second slot. I need call out over bounce, and we are going to warp back over to this zip station and heal quickly. Major plot warning. Lots of plot coming. Oh, I also need cold calculation over pressure on Magpike. Cutscene to skip there, cutscene to skip here. Oh gosh, everything's going wrong. We are about to fight God. or so Riley calls them. This is Shloom. There's a whole lot of flowcharts on this one, but all in all, the fight is pretty much fine. We are going to have a very silly first turn here where we call out to boost Magpike's defenses and then click drum and then free ball, which is not a very damaging attacking move, as you'll notice there. It's fine. Right now, we need to move Bongus to the front because Shloom is going to use Careful Shot, attacking front row. We're going to volley, we're going to call out again, just making sure Magpike's defenses are real nice and high so they don't go down because they're going to be our damage. Currently Magpike is angry, so we switch Bongus out for Bandicraft. And we hit volley, we move Bandicraft to the back and hit Cold Calculation. Apparently we can click assess here. I'm just going to check the calcs on that. Yep, we can. We can click assess, so we're going to do that. We're going to hit volley, and we're going to hit cold calculation, and that should get us the win. There we go. Nice. Okay, so that's Shloom. We are now going to put Bandicraft back up. We are going to give Bongus bounce again, just in case we need it. And give you pressure again. Work back here. Heal. All sorts of setup. We're going into the Crown Series next. Gonna buy a whole bunch of healing items. As many as we can. Specifically electrolytes, because they restore both, like, wiped if we need to restore wiped for any reason, they restore sweaty, and they restore health. And that means they're the best thing to buy a whole bunch of. So here we are in the first fight. This is Elena. She calls us out for being a speedrunner or something, because we came through this so fast. Hit pressure into Preezy here. I need to focus. Wolfen, we click assess no matter what. Alright. So we're gonna hit volley, pressure into Freezy here, get the KO. Oh, we got a very nice line here. Wolf still being in means, oh, we actually can't quite kill them because I'm a little behind on experience. Okay, who's getting attacked? You can check the chat here to see who's getting attacked. Bandicraft will actually get knocked out here, so I need to switch to Bongus. And pressure here gets a KO on someone. Just barely gets the KO on Moxie there, which is lovely. And we'll now get the KO on aim. Nice thing about pressure is it deals a little bit of extra damage to foes that just switched in, which is very useful. We're gonna heal now. Alright, here's Celia. Celia's a little bit of a weird fight. Okay, Toadstool doesn't come to the front, so we can click assess here, which is lovely. If Toadstool comes to the front, then we'll need to move Manny to the front row, because it has a sideways move that can only be used from the net, which is an interesting one. Expecting a switch out here, probably, but if not, I'm gonna hit Toadstool. Yep, there we go. Not quite enough damage to deal with that there. But either way, we can just keep clicking assess, lowering defense. And we're gonna keep doing some damage. We wanna make sure that Amanita here in the back is knocked out when they switch in, because they have a pesky move called Tornado Ball, which will switch out whoever it hits. And obviously, we don't want that, because we would like our DPS to remain on the field, please. More assessing. This fight is not... It's very hard to lose this fight, but it also goes wrong. It also goes slowly sometimes, which is just not fun to deal with. Anyway, we win there. It's, again, an easy fight, just a nuisance. Heal up here. Nicely, we only have to use one healing item, which is lovely. Here's Riven. We're going to hit pressure into Brisky here, and then assess. Okay, a little more annoying to see the hit into Bandicraft there, but it's fine. Except I can't actually quite knock out Grendel here, which is a little unfortunate. In my routing, I was able to knock out Grendel on that turn. Unfortunately, stuff just didn't quite work out. I'm going to click Assess again and we should be fine. Yeah, okay, we're good, we're good. Grendel should switch out here, but either way, we can kill Bilba, so let's do that instead. Okay, Grendel didn't switch out, which is even better, because it means we got to hit them this turn. Little bit slower than it would be if we had kept up the Athletic Spray for longer, but it's fine, we get all our KOs here. Alright. Ranking update. Skip all the cutscenes, heal. We got Marlin now. Marlin's another one with a bunch of flowcharts. We are going to hit pressure into Ruby here. We see Ruby come to the front, which means we are going to move Bendy forward so they can't use... Oh, I should have hit pressure into Noire, but I didn't. But hopefully this won't mess everything up, but it may. Let's move Bendy back into the back, I suppose. Hit pressure into Noire now. I'm doing it live. So Bandicraft will get knocked out here almost certainly because I don't believe... Yeah, they are not capable of knocking out Magpike. So we're going to tag Bandy out for Bongus here. Set Drum up for just a little bit of passive healing, which is nice. Goldie's going to use Inspiring Defense here, which is annoying, but we'll deal with it. Probably see Bluey switching in here. Or maybe Pearl. It may be Pearl. Okay, we see Bluey. Alright. Magpike needs to go to the front, because otherwise we see Cut Shot, but they're going to launch. Okay. We also can't be blocked right now because of flow, which is nice. Not something I really took into consideration, but hey, we take those. We're going to see Pearl in here. I'm going to hit into Goldie simply so that they can't click Cut Shot. Launch will not kill Magpike, so we can click Assess here, and hopefully this will give us the juice to maybe knock out Pearl. Hard to say. Pressure there. Nope. Okay. Shield Magpike here because I'm expecting a launch there. Yep. Plenty of doing it live here. Goldie is still angry, so they actually can't... I'm expecting Goldie to switch out. Yeah, and we get that. Okay, cool. Goldie is angry, so they can't use Inspiring Defense again. Inspiring Defense is sort of like an upgraded version of Shield that only Survey Slip gets. Anyway, we got through that one. It was a little hairy, but that's fine. All right, now we have Barnes, more flowcharts here. We're gonna hit into Danny first. This one's a lot easier though. We hit Shield and Magpike here because we're gonna take a whole bunch of damage otherwise, and we don't want that. All right, we see Bandicraft hit, which is a little annoying actually. That shouldn't usually happen. Either way, we can volley into Carlos here, and it doesn't quite kill Danny, so neither is down. We move Magpike to the side here to lose a point according to my notes, but stuff's going not according to plan, so I think we're actually... Ah, you know what it is? Bandicraft didn't get as many levels because we lost a couple things. But hey, you get to watch what happens when stuff doesn't go according to plan in this game. Either way, pressure doesn't knock out Carlos here if they move to the back, but they don't, which is very nice. Now going to hit pressure into this slot as per usual. I expect what'll happen here will counter knockout Magpike. No, it won't, so we're going to have to do the same thing and switch into Bongus here. This should hopefully be fine. We want to knock out whatever comes in here. Now gonna pressure over here. Will be able to use Air Blast this turn. I want to say it's going into Magpike, so let's see. Oh, we got to slide into Magpike instead. Cool, that works too. Do you have shield? You don't have shield, but we also don't kill, which is annoying. Could Bongus get a kill here? Hold on. This is funny. Bounce actually knocks out Bongus, or Maxier. So, hey. Get to try something new every day, I guess. Last fight coming up here. We are almost out of healing items, because this has gone so strangely. But this is Gene. This one should go according to plan, hopefully. Pressure into Fanon here. Click Assess into Magpike. Volley, set, and pressure will knock out Fanon. As Foucault shields. Pressure into this slot as something switches in. Once again, gonna click Assess because the move Rainbow here targets the back row, and it's always from the side the user is on. So Foucault's rainbows are always going to go into Magpike, which is very useful. Foucault's probably gonna click shield again. Nope, we're gonna see that go down instead. That's totally fine. Either way. Now Magpike is low enough that we actually do need to click shield. Otherwise the rainbow will knock us out. So we're just gonna volley set and win the fight. Last fight of the run here. This is Valerie. We don't need to win, so we're not going to. We are going to click free ball into Styles and hope they attack the right beastie. Let's see our body defenses. Bandicraft has slightly more, so it should be Magpike who gets attacked, but yep, there we go. Just free ball into Styles again, and we should go down here. AI takes a lot of time to think because it sees a lot of options, and it's taking some suboptimal ones, unfortunately for us. What we want to happen is we want Duke to use Feint. There we go. See, that's what we want to happen on turn 1. If that happens on turn 1, then it only takes us 2 turns to lose. So, real unfortunate RNG there, actually. But, you know, we got through it. A whole bunch of cutscenes to skip through here as all our friends show up. You know how it is. End of a game. All right. And there we go. That'll be the last point. So we're just going to head out here and talk to Riley. And that's the end of the run. A 41-41 in-game time, probably slightly more than that, probably in the range of like 42-43 real-time. Not the best run. There was a whole bunch of stuff I messed up. Namely, I think I forgot to do some things. The Magpike recruit was a little rough this time, which usually it's easier than that. And overall, you know, pretty good for a first run on a, like, super new route, to be honest. You may see this video. If you do see this video, it's because I didn't quite find time in the rest of the week to get a better one out. But hey, that just shows you, this comes in under estimate, for sure, because my estimate's definitely going to be 45. And, yeah, I mean, Bildit's a super fun route. Gotta love it. So thanks for your consideration. Obviously, we have plenty of other routes of this game as well, because there are 3 starters, and I could do all of them. If you've already watched Axolotl or Kitschik, then cool. Thanks for watching both of them, I guess. Yeah. I hope you're having a great day, and peace.